There we go. We are recording now. So thank you for joining us. We will do these, like I say, whenever we have a new release. And there are some other topics that I think are worthwhile from time to time. And I will send a webinar invitation to attend that session. And we will record those sessions, hopefully be able to post those, so you can look at them later if you like. So today's webinar is really focusing on 8.1 and the new functionality in that, which looks like this. And I'm going to show you each of these individually. The new gas gauge style of current checkout display, denials heat map. You're familiar with the checkout heat map, but now we have a denials heat map. The ability to report on borrowed licenses. Alerts are now definable. There were some alerts that you could define frequency on, but now you can define frequency of the alert on all of them. We have the ability to add a second Active Directory domain. We call that the alternate domain now in 8.1. We're able to support HTTPS. That's basically a white paper, and I'll go over that. The number of lines in your tables, the number of lines per page has increased. I'll show you that. License server detail now includes the sysadmin name. So if you have license servers, all over the place, having the name of the sysadmin for that server right there in the server detail page I think is pretty cool. We have the ability to import FlexNet Manager data. That probably is not important to you, but it's there. Generic data import might be important. If you can generate, usage data some other source and get it into this generic template format, then we can import that data and you can see it in the LAMUM usage reports. And then in this release, we've also upgraded a number of the components, and we'll talk about that. So let's look first at the current checkout gauge display. So traditionally, you show current checkouts in the checkout overview or the checkout detail by tool. But now, as well as the overview page, you have the ability to show it in sort of a gas gauge format. And these little dials will auto scale depending upon the resolution of your screen and the size of your screen. So literally you could have 30, 40, 50 of these little gauges up on a display, but it is a function of resolution and size of your screen. And you do need to use the 8182 port if you want it to auto size. It is feature selectable, so you may have 50 features that you're monitoring, but you don't have to have. You could have all 50 up in this gas gauge display, but you can also just select from the current checkout overview, and I'll show you all this live, by the way. You can just pick check the boxes of the features that you want to show as gas gauges, or you can have them all show up as gas gauges. And just like the overview, you can have this auto refresh like every 5 minutes. Whatever your cron interval is, it'll auto refresh itself. And then, like in the overview, you can click on the feature name to get to see the details of that feature, checkout details. You can do the same thing here. If you click on the blue feature name, it'll bring up that table showing all your current checkouts for that tool. So we think this is kind of cool. This would be the kind of thing that you'd want to actually have up on the wall. If you so choose to do this, we don't sell these monitors. This is one of our customers that has these 65-inch monitors up on a screen, and they can show the current overview. They can show the gas gauges up on the screen. If you have
there's a window one. It's cute, man.
What's that?
Sorry.
Oh. We were just seeing the guy that's got the see-through. I don't know if that's his door and you can open it, but he's got the window there so he can see out
right here. Yeah. Yeah, this is one of our customers, and I don't know, we may have other customers that have done this, because this is just a white paper. We don't sell this functionality. This has been, you could have done this a long time ago. There's a white paper up on our website, which maybe I'll show you, and it talks about how to set this up. You do need some third-party software to do this, but this is just a repeater from a local display. But it's kind of cool if you want the control center kind of look. So anyway, that's the current checkout gauge thing. I'll show you this live in a minute. This is what the new denials heat map looks like. It's not as intense or pretty as the checkout heat map, which shows you a much larger area. But this is visually showing you 24/7 when your checkouts are occurring. So I mean, people that are tracking denials, might find this kind of interesting. Again, to know what time of day and what days of the week are you getting the denials. Borrowed, I don't know if you have borrowed licenses, but there is a function within Flex where you can, borrow licenses, and I don't know all the details behind what that is, but we've added that to the current checkouts report. So this is the detail report for current checkouts. There's a new column there called borrowed duration, and if they are borrowed licenses, it'll actually show you the amount of time that it's been borrowed for. If it isn't borrowed, it'll just say no in that column. Definable alert frequency, we'll look at each of them separately, but on the alerts tab now, there's the general thing. It shows you what the time interval is for the frequency. So, right now, like demon down alerts are set to every 30 minutes. Capacity alerts are set to once an hour. Long checkouts are set to every 30 minutes, but most of these you can specify how frequently you want to get an alert. It could be expressed in minutes or in hours or in some cases days, like the expiration alerts can be expressed in days or weeks, I think, too. Again, I'll show you this for each of the different alerts. For the alternate,
I have a question.
Somebody had a question?
Yes, Guy, this is Thomas. I have a question regarding a previous one with a borrow license.
Yeah.
You showed a borrowing duration. Does this show how many people, is there a way to show how many people borrow a license?
Well, these are the people. The people who have borrowed licenses are listed here.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
That column shows the number of minutes that it has been borrowed from. Works very nicely.
Oh, thank you. All right, let me go to the next. I was just starting on this. So if you have an alternate domain, right now, as you know, we have the one domain for Active Directory that you can specify here. But now if you have a second domain, then you just click multiple domains up here. You click that, and then you get another box, you can see that it pops up another alternate Active Directory box. So you put in that information here, and then when it does an Active Directory search, it will look into the primary Active Directory first. If it doesn't see the name there, it'll go to the alternate Active Directory and see if it can find the name there. And no, we don't have a third or fourth. I'm sorry?
A question for that, does it have to be in the same domain tree? Because what we are facing a problem right now is that we have acquired a company and we haven't merged that the AD Active Directory yet, so we just trust the domain, but it doesn't work in connecting. So we have a workaround in the past, but after A1 it doesn't work again. So is this one can we put it two different domain tree?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that technical. Canary is on the call here. Canary actually is the one who added this. Do you have an answer for that, Canary, or is that something that we need to research?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it should work. It should work.
So what
okay, I'll give that a try.
I would suggest after this call that you contact us. You can write to support@teameda.com with your question, and Canary will get back in touch with you if you still.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In 8.1, we support the secured HTTPS. So LAM can be configured now to listen on secured ports, HTTPS, SSL, TSL. I don't know a whole lot about this. There is a white paper up on our website. I'll show you that in a minute if you're interested in this functionality. And this supports both Apache and Tomcat. More lines per page in your tables. I mean, right now, I think the limit in your tables, I can't remember what it is, 50 or 100. Anyway, we've added, now you can go up to 150 lines in your display. But again, you can sort by clicking on the column heading. You can filter on the general filter box or the column filters to get to the information that you're looking for. But we've added this ability to show more lines per page. Server in the server details, the server tab, and then the detail, which shows the server name, the site, all this stuff. We've actually, there was a column here that was never used, so we changed it to sysadmin. So now in this page, you can list the name of the sysadmin for those servers. And this is useful for the people that have licensed servers, scattered around the country or around the world. That way, immediately if Banshee goes down, to call John Eastman, Eastham. In 8.1, we've upgraded these components. The Apache has been upgraded to 2.4.29. Tomcat has been upgraded to 8.5.27. PHP has been upgraded to 7.1.13. So, we're trying to keep current. We have many customers that are defense aerospace, and they're very concerned about the versions of these components. So we're trying, every release now, we'll probably be updating, one or more of these components. The other component that was recently upgraded was the MariaDB database. In version 8.0, we upgraded it to 10.0. So that's the current version. There is an app note on our website. If you wanted to upgrade these components on your own, you can. And that explains how you do it in that white paper. But MariaDB, you cannot upgrade yourself. We have to do that. So don't attempt to upgrade Maria on yourself, or the database on your own. There is a patch for 8.1. We did find a few bugs, and some of these, I don't know why, they just appeared as bugs. I kind of know why they did, but the test button in LAM, how you put a log file path in when you're putting in a license for like if it's a new license and you're putting in a new path, there's a test button there to see if it works. That was entered in 8.0. I think we added the test button for the LAM path, but that broke when we added 8.1 because we had, anyway, on the LAM code. It's long story short, that button wasn't working with the 8.1 first release, but the 8.11 patch, again, it doesn't affect anything that you already have in, but if you're trying to add a new license and a new path and use the test button, it doesn't work in 8.1. So you need to get upgraded to 8.11, and it's just a patch for Windows. Same with license file select. That was working fine until 8.1. And again, if you have already license files in, it doesn't affect that. But if new license files, you would have a problem with in 8.1 unless you upgraded to 8.11. Same with the comprehensive checkouts parser and the user overview graph. We just found these 4 bugs that get fixed in 8.1.1. So if you see these things, you'll be able to just get the patch. Just write support@teammedia.com and ask for the patch. There may be, I think they're planning on putting an upgrade or an update up on our website, so you can upgrade from 8.1 to 8.11 to get that if you want. So that's quick overview. Now I'm going to go live to the product and show you this stuff. So this is LAMUM 8.11. So the first one was the gas gauge display. So we'll go to usage and we'll go to current overview. Notice there's a current overview gas gauge. The overview is the same as it's always been. The only difference now is that you can select the gas gauge display from here, or you can just select the features that you want to display over on the the gas gauge display. And at the bottom here, there's select gas gauge display. So if you do that, these are the 3 that I picked, you know, or again, you can pick them all by doing that. You know, that's all of them. Or you can just do this, same thing. So, and again, if you want the details, like if I want to see who is using the MATLAB, you just click on that, and that's the details, like you're familiar with. So that's pretty cool. Now, the one thing, I'm in the 8181 view right now, and this display is fixed. So, I mean, if you want these things to auto scale, see, that's not too cool. But if you do the 8182 view, I'm going to open up the 8182 view. Where's the 8182 view? There it is. Okay. So you're familiar, everybody's familiar with that. So now if I do the overview and I scale this thing, I mean, it'll shift to whatever my display is, just so that you know. All right, so that's pretty much the gas gauges. The denials heat map, there's not a whole lot to show you there. Not sure if that's, whoops, let me go back to my demo here. Denials, I don't know which one we have denials on. I think we've got denials on this one here. No, that's zero usage, sorry. Denials on that one. Yeah, where is the heat map? Oh, here it is right here. Whoops, go over to here to heat map, denials, heat map. I think it's this one here. We have something there, but I don't know what we're going to see here. Now, the reason that's not showing up is because the history on the denials is too far back. We only have denials going back to June, so they're not going to show up. So I really can't show you the denials heat map, but again, it looks like I showed you up here, looks like that, just like the other heat map, but it shows denials. The reason I couldn't do it is I don't have any data in here. You'd have to go back to June of 2017 to actually see any denial information. All right, next one was borrowed licenses. I think I already showed you that in the current overview details. We'll go to details on that one. That's the column, but we don't have any, quote, borrowed licenses in our demo, but you would see the amount of time there if we had denials. I'm sorry, if we had borrowed licenses, that would show up here and how long they've been borrowed for. Definable alerts. Let's go over to the alerts list. So this is a sort of a summary here of the times for each, but if I wanted to go in, let's say the capacity alerts, you see you have this new thing, alert frequency here, where you can specify, in this case, capacity alerts by hour or by minute. And then you can say minutes, how many minutes, every 45 minutes, every 30 minutes, and then submit, and that would change the frequency, you know, on the alert. Or you can set hours. If I only wanted to get this capacity alert, you know, every 4 hours, you can set it to every 4 hours. On the daemon down, that's always been configurable. You've always been able to configure the frequency here. Right now it's set to 30 minutes, but you could set it from every 5 minutes to every 60 minutes on the daemon down alert. Expiration alerts. So you can have the alert frequency being daily or weekly. That's pretty much your options. You get a daily alert on expiration or a weekly alert on expiration. Just click update and that resets it. And again, all of this stuff is being updated in the list here. Yeah. If I go down to the long checkout alerts, again, you can set the frequency in minutes or hours the same way. every hour, every 12 hours, and that's so for your long checkouts frequency, how often you want to be alerted on long checkouts. So that's how that works. The alternate Active Directory domain, if I go back over here to the Active Directory setup page, notice the first one is just, this has the one Active Directory option here. And so if I click the multiple domains, that's when I get the second box that shows up so that you can put in the information on the second domain here. And again, the way the search engine, it goes to the first directory first, doesn't find it there, then it'll go to the second directory, the alternate directory. So that's that. The HTTPS support, now that's nothing I can show you, but I can go to our website. Let's go to teameda.com. There's a few things now up here that you need to be aware of. So this is our website, which you're familiar with. And if you go to support documentation, so there's a few things that are new up here that you can reference. So this is an explanation of the borrowed license reporting. These are just PDF documents. I'm not going to open it up, but if you're interested, go to the TeamEDA website, support documentation. You should have this page saved as a favorite anyway. I would highly encourage. There's a lot of documentation up here. So in your browser, just save this as a favorite. And so you can just click on it and come to the documentation. So that's borrowed license reporting. And this is the HTTPS conversion. This is what you need to do to set that up if you're interested in HTTPS support. We have also added some more stuff down under application notes. The graphs, you can set colors in the graphs if you don't like our colors. This is, let's see, what else we added. We added Math LM setup. So if you have Mathematica and you want to monitor Mathematica, that uses Math LM agent, so you can set that up using this. Trying to think what else is in here. Oh, the FlexNet Manager import capability, which you probably don't care about, but that's the how do you set up the parser for that. And this is the generic data import parser. This tells you how to set up the generic data import parser. And then under resources now, we're under the documentation here, but under resources, you've got the tutorial here. It shows all of our reports that you can reference if you want. This houses set up a user dashboard. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but let me just open this one up here. You have with our system the ability to set up these dashboards, and the dashboard can be anything: SharePoint, ShareLink, WordPress. It can be any of these, any document, anything that can hold hyperlinks. All these is hyperlinks to the 8182 reports, and you just give it a user-friendly name, and so they can just click on these hyperlinks and get to the reports that they want. So the current checkout status reports, the heat maps, those are very commonly used in a dashboard because engineers or managers want to look at those. So you just come here to the dashboard and click on this and get directly to those reports. You can also have different documents in that dashboard. So if you're not using dashboards now, I would highly encourage you, to take a look at some of these in here. Pretty useful. There's also a current checkout reports. This is all the various. This is a pretty useful page here that talks about how you can show current checkouts, and it goes over the checkout overview page, goes over the new gas gauge display. There's also a daemon manager in here. So there's a bunch of documentation that if you're not familiar with it, you should come here to look at this stuff. So I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to show you today. Let me just make sure that I covered everything here. Upgraded components, there's really nothing to show there. Oh, there was one document up here. I guess it's over here. How to upgrade your components. Here it is right here. Upgrading third-party components for Windows. So if you do need that go to that document there. So that's pretty much an overview of 8.1. Do you have any specific questions?
Guy, yeah, it's Glenn Kensler. I have a suggestion for you.
Yeah,
You hear me?
I do hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Over on, if you would go and flip to the denials overview tab.
Denials overview tab. So let's back over here to LAM.
Yeah.
This one right here?
Yeah. When you go there,
Yeah.
I like this new heat map on denials. What I'd like to suggest is, could you put a column there so I can access the heat map right from here? Because this is usually in order of the worst problems, and when I have a bad problem with denials, I'd like to go right to the heat map for that one. That way I'd be more likely to hit a heat map that actually has data.
The heat
I like
map
that.
link. All right, I'm just making a note here.
Just imagine, it says details there. If you had another column that says heat map.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Canary, I'm writing this down, but does that seem doable?
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
I think it's a convenience because usually when you're looking into denials, you're trying to figure out the cause of a problem. And the heat map's real helpful, but I would be here on the overview page to find my worst problems, and that's exactly when I'd want a heat map.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Seems doable.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody have questions?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is Thomas Shaw. I have two questions or one comment. You have a daemon monitor, right? Or daemon alert, but in one of my recent case, the Tomcat is somehow down, and so 81, 82 working, but 81, 81 doesn't work. We don't know that until we go to the page. Is a way maybe in the future you can consider like monitor the Tomcat. That's number one. Number two is when you have AD connection to check the user, you click the user, it come out with the user info. But normally, if we have one, for example, one user borrowing too long, we have to capture the name and then go to the email, type the name, find the name, and email him. Is there a way we can click the link from the AD directly to that user?
Well,
That's kind of
yeah, I
interesting.
mean, if you bring up the AD information, let me just go to the details on any one of these. Paul Newman. So that's the AD information. Now I can click on Paul Newman's name, and I can,
okay.
yeah, I mean, if I do that, I just click on it. It takes me right to my Outlook.
Okay, yeah.
That's always been in there. That's not new.
Okay. Maybe I didn't check that before I
Probably never knew that was there. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Guy, this is Mark Grothy. Could you go to the users tab and the users overview? What I'm curious about is if you were to select 30 days and 90-day reports,
Yeah.
they appear to be organized, first of all, for the 30-day report, not by days or the days of the week, so to say, at the bottom, but rather by total usage. Is that intended? Because the dates are confusing there.
Yeah, I don't know the algorithm. Obviously, you can't. You know, this is.
We recently in our I think batch we made the change and it's now sorted by date now.
Oh, that's right. That was a bug. That's the. If
Yeah.
I go back to my presentation here, Mark. That's this bug here.
Oh.
Yeah. Fix.
Oh, okay.
Get the 8.1.1 patch. It fixes that.
Okay. And there is a secondary question to that, though, and I saw this in 8.0, and I think even in 7. If you go to the 90-day graph,
okay.
the individual columns, in my case, I'm showing like 455 users for 122. We've never had 455 users. If I were to do a 30-day graph encompassing that same time frame, in other words, not being in the 90-day graph, it would give me the correct or reasonable information as to the total number of users. But when I go to the 90 days, I get these numbers that are way beyond our contracted limit. The accumulation of maximum unique users is inappropriate in my mind. It's not displaying it correctly. Maybe I should send you an email with an image.
Could you, Canary, have you heard anybody else? Has anybody else had a problem with that?
No. Yeah, can you please send us the email in a detail so we can look at it and just get back to you?
I will.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Guys,
Okay.
oh, go ahead.
David Coles. Could you go back to the overview and show how when you select a couple of tools and you go to the gauge display, how you save it in the 8182 port?
How you save it?
Yeah, how do you get that output to the 8182? Because mine's just going 8181.
You can do it from either one. But if you want to do the auto scaling, you have to be in the 8182 port. But
yeah,
you know, I mean, this is the same. If I go to my 8182, do I still have that open here? Yeah, here's the 8182. I mean, I have the same options here. Same thing. I mean, I can check the boxes or just check certain ones.
Yeah. Okay.
And save it, you know.
You're like admin?
Does that
How do you? I have 8182 already, you know, which I can start at and just go from there and do it. But I was just wondering how, if you could get to it from the 8181.
Oh, well, yeah, from 8181, I mean, you're going to get, I mean, it's the same thing, really, but it doesn't transfer. These check marks that I did here aren't going to transfer. I guess it doesn't transfer over. Let me just open up a new window, see if they do. I've never tried this before. Current. No, see, it's showing everything. So in the overview, you have to check them here. So, yeah, right now it doesn't save it when you go from 8181 to 8182. So
yeah, because I'd like to save some heat, some usage stuff for our board.
I will look to save gas gauge selections. Period.
Yeah.
I'll see if that's possible. But Canary, you going to say something?
Hello, guys. Sorry to interrupt, but like I just want to know that whether the next window which you opened just before that, so it gives an overview of all the licenses which are being currently used.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
And so what he's saying, he's saying that he only wants to see these. Every time he opens this up, he only wants to see these three.
I guess you can't really save it though, because they're not always going to be.
It is auto refresh. So if you open the link, it will refresh automatically.
Okay. All right.
If you select
that auto
something,
refresh thing there. Oh, now it does. See, it just lost that. I just looked it when I clicked on these features and I clicked. It loses the settings, Canary. So we probably need to.
Okay.
Fix that. We lose it when we click auto refresh. But I think, wait a minute, I think on the gas gauges, it automatically refreshes, right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
So
like
you don't need to click this.
Yeah, if you click on the box and select the gauge display in a separate window, it will automatically refresh.
Oh,
so if you,
okay.
Once the cron run, it will refresh this page.
Okay. And then your cron interval, of course, is whatever you have it set at. And so these get updated automatically.
that answer any other questions? Does that answer your question, David?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Hi, I have one question. Mansi here. Can you just explain once denial heat, what exactly does it do, and just a little bit overview about that?
The denial heat map?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's I can't really show you this in our demo because we don't have data going back that far. But what this is showing you is the day of the week and the time of the day when the denials are occurring.
Okay. So is it about the usage or anything like that?
Well, it's
Is it related to
it's about
usage?
denials. So this is when people can't get a license. This comes from the denial reports, which are from the Flex debug logs. Are you tracking denials now? When if I go back to this page here, we go to denials overview. Do you have data on denials right now?
Like we have currently upgraded it, so like yeah, I just need to check whether we are there or not.
Well, yeah. If you wanted to track denials, I'm sorry. What company are you from?
Yeah, it's Whirlpool.
Which one?
Whirlpool.
Walpole? Oh, Whirlpool.
Yeah.
Whirlpool, sure.
Yeah.
Whirlpool. Yes. I'm not sure if you're tracking denials, but there's a whole white paper. If I go back up here to my this is the documentation page, right? We're at Team EDA website support documentation, and you go down to here. This is FlexLM denial setup. That's a white paper document that you need to read to make sure that you have your denials set up right. But in order to do denials, you need to have, if I go over here to this one here, you need to, come on, why aren't you going down? Oh, I know why. Pull this up. You need to have under log file, do you know where I'm at, right? I'm in the license detail page. You need to have a path in here. And this is all explained in the Flex Denial Setup white paper. This has to be a path to the Flex Denial, to the Flex debug logs for this tool. Okay, this happens to be Abacus, at a certain ported host. You need to have the path to that debug log set up here. And once that's in,
we have that.
That's the first step. That's the first step. The second step is when you come over here, you need to go to the parsers tab and do Flex Denial Parsing Setup. So this lets you set up the day of the week and the time of the day that you're going to parse the Flex debug logs to collect denial information. So you could have it collect every day or every 7 days or whatever. It depends on how your Flex debug logs are set up.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. It explains a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any other? Yep, question?
Yeah, on the path for the debug log, I haven't set up any of those yet. I see that was absolute path. Can you do UNC paths?
Here, again, I would read that Flex debug log white paper, or the Flex denial setup white paper. Kanari, do you know? I mean, I've always said it has to be an absolute path from the LAMUM server to the Flex debug log for this tool. But
so what was the question?
Can you use an absolute path? I mean, a UNC path instead of an absolute path.
Yeah, I think it should work. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I have to make sure in the white paper.
Well, I'm going to be trying it anyways in the next couple of days, so I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Glenn Kensler again. I mean, there was a time when UNC Paths would not work there, and we had to write a script to copy the logs to a local directory so the local path would work. Are you saying that UNC now works?
I didn't say that, and Kanari said she has to check.
Okay. It just for everyone's reference, I mean, it's not really hard to write a little script that grabs that log file and moves it to the local server, but that is a way around that, so you don't have to deal with UNC.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good too.
And Guy, I had another suggestion of something that would be helpful, I think, at least to me, on the overview gauges. when you look at them, there's a number under the gauges.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I don't think I mentioned that. Let me just.
The number under the gauges looks to be the percentage without the percent symbol, and it's easy to misinterpret that as an actual count.
Are you talking about these numbers here?
Yeah, it looks like there are 40 licenses in use, but really it's 4, and that's meant to say 40%.
Oh, it's percentage. Yeah.
You either put the percent next to the 40, or actually more helpful would be to actually show the number of licenses in use as the
I mean,
number.
we do say percent up here, but I hear you. Yeah.
At a distance, you look and you say, all right, there are 100 licenses in use on that first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the way it designed, it won't allow to add percentage over there. So that's why we haven't add percentage sign there.
Well, I like the big number, and I would just suggest that instead of the in-use 6 in that small gray, just put that big number as the number in use. So you can see at a distance how many licenses are in use. It would be my preference. Maybe not everybody wants it that way.
Yeah.
I find it useful to actually count.
Okay.
So you're saying, like in this example, put the 6 here?
Yeah.
Put the
10
10
it's clear that you're maxed out because it's red. And I want to know, well, how many licenses are in use? Actually, I'd have to get up close to the screen to see that small 6. And the number 100 doesn't actually mean much to me because I can already see the percentage of the scale. The exact percentage doesn't matter, but the number of licenses does.
Okay.
If you were to do it that way, you might want to put, say, 6/6 so that you know that 6 of 6 are available.
Yeah.
I mean, right here.
There's some ideas. I just thought that writing down the numbers for the percentage is really not that useful when you have a nice visual on the percentage.
Well, that's a good suggestion. Let me see if we can do that.
Yeah, I think we can do it.
But we got to leave the color, you know, in terms of percent, right?
Oh yeah, that's all good.
The gas gauges. This is a 75%. This is 67%. This is 53%.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Okay.
I think the visual is great, and just saying the number being a meaningful number would be more helpful as opposed to just try to repeat the same information that the gauge shows.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us talk about that internally, and maybe we can do that in the next release. How does everybody else feel about that? I mean,
I agree, as long as it also shows the max number. So if that big number, say for the MATLAB where it's 67%, if that was 10/15 in big numbers, that would give you a better idea.
Yeah, and then we can get rid of that. We can get rid of the gray. Yeah, that's pretty.
I would agree. Yeah.
When I first read it, I thought it was 100 licenses in use, and I'm thinking, I don't have that many. And then I had to go read up above because my eye goes right to the graph rather than the text.
All right. Well noted. Anything else?
The sizes are great.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to post this recording, and then we'll do these more frequently. I think this has been very useful to get your input as well on some of this stuff. So,
Guy, we've got a couple questions. If you have a few more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Two things. One, is there a way to suppress if we go to usage and look at our, just for example, we have an AutoCAD usage. And if we go to usage home, we get our list. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do this real time. Of course, my machine seems to be locked up. Anyway, when we go to here we go. It's going now. When we go to a specific license, for example, we're looking at our AutoCAD license, and we go to if I go to graph, it pops up maybe 30 or 40 licenses. It looks like when AutoCAD ships that license to us, it gives us a version for 2012, 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Is there a way to suppress those? Because the problem we run into is if we don't use it every day, we don't remember which ones are being, or is the current license being used.
Right.
there a way to suppress the rest of them?
Yeah. So what you're saying is you get a long list of features here, and you don't really,
Sure.
you only care about certain ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually,
Out of the 20, there's probably only 2 that we need.
so it's very simple. Actually,
Okay.
if you go to
Perfect.
licenses, go to the licenses tab, and then
Okay.
go to the tool name for that, AutoCAD, whatever it is.
Right.
There's this thing called features right here. It says add new feature. So all you need to do, like right now on this one, we've only got one feature name listed.
Sure.
That's the only feature name that's going to come on that drop down. If there's nothing here, like if I took this completely out, deleted it, it'll show everything. See, like right now, there's no feature names listed, so it's going to show everything. But if I only wanted to show a specific feature, I would just, you have to be very careful that when you put in the feature name here, Abacus/standard, it's exactly spelled the same way as in the license file. But as long as it's spelled correctly here, as long as it sees a name here, and you could have multiple, I could add several features, you know, it could have 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever. And those are the only ones that are going to show up in that list.
Okay, we'll try that. Thank you.
And if you need help, give us a call. Now, I will tell you that we do continue to collect data on every feature anyway. So if you
that's fine.
If you change your mind later and you want to, you know, change what you see on that list, you'll always have the data there.
Okay. Second one is when we look at, let me get back to my.
By the way, there's a white paper there. You know, what I just described to you here is also up here in our white papers. I'm trying to remember where it says. There's a white paper that addresses that issue, and I can't remember where it's at.
Okay.
Anyway.
We were also looking at a lot of the reports show the user's login ID out of Active Directory.
Yeah.
But is there a way to configure it so we can also see their name? Because login ID doesn't help us a lot unless we export it to something else and
Go through and click on each one.
Yeah, if we open each one, of course it's fine. But is there a way we can configure that report so it gives us ID, login ID as well as name?
Like first name or last name.
Oh, yeah. No, it only shows the user right here, the user ID. This is the user ID right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ours don't look anything like that.
Yeah, ours is alphanumeric string.
Yeah, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, but when you click on the thing, it'll tell you. Oh, great! That one doesn't have any information.
Right. Yeah. It would just be helpful if we could, without clicking on each, because we have a lot of entries, of course.
So when you're using that AD lookup to get the login name, would it be possible to also pull over like last name, first name fields?
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying now. Yeah. I mean, people have asked for that before, but right now we don't, because it would just be, you know, it would take forever. You know, like we've got the username listed here, but if you wanted their actual name in another column here, I mean, every one of these, we'd have to go to Active Directory and look it up and list it. I mean, it would take more time to generate the table. I mean, that's the trade-off. I mean, this generates very, very fast, but if you wanted it to include the username, the actual name of the user, you know, next to that, it would just take more time to generate. But it's something we could look into. I'll put it on our list.
Yeah, you may only need to generate it once and store it as a database in your own MariaDB.
Well, that would be okay for customers that only have, you know, 100 or 200 engineers, but we have some customers with 2,000 engineers and they're constantly changing.
Yeah.
But it is possible.
Okay.
Well, if you're using the lookup to get the username, can you modify that query to pull back username, first name, last name?
Okay. Well, I've noted it. We'll talk about it here.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else before we close for today?
Guys, Mark Rothy again. On that screen that you got right there, I wanted to ask a question, make a mention of the fact that I'm really happy with the increased number of listing length, that you have. You've increased that and it works
Oh, yeah,
great.
sure.
Is there a way to set up a default? Like, I'm generally a creature of habit, and I list. Can you set it up somewhere that it would remember my 120 line items always?
I
Without
think,
my
yeah,
having to set.
it will automatically remember your setting.
So far, if I get out and get back in, it doesn't seem to do that. I have to go back and select it again. Like if I go away for the day, I close down my computer, come back to it the next day, I don't think it remembers
Once you set, and when you click on the next button, I think it will remember, and when you come back, it will do the same 90 setting as a 90.
Well, let's just try it. So,
I'll check that again.
whoops, not a graph. I took the wrong one. User table. So I went back
No,
to
you
30.
you have to click 90.
Click 90.
Click 90. Yeah, just go to the next or something. Click on it. It will automatically.
Yeah. Well, so that's saved now.
Okay. Can you go to the a scroll down?
Yeah. Well, we don't have 90 lines in this
Oh,
table.
okay, that's
But
why
the
I
setting
think.
is 90. But I
But
think
my
if I go
impression
out
is
and
it's
come back
remembering.
in,
I will check. I think it will remember your setting. But I will double
oh
check.
yeah, it did. It remembered it.
I'll
It
do
did.
that.
I
Okay.
just tried it. It did.
Well, yeah, I just did it here, and then after I set it to 90, I then exited out of Internet Explorer and out of LAMUM, and then I go back into it, and it's just back there with the default base 30.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we will check definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for attending. And again, we're going to do these more frequently. I don't know how often. And we'll let you know. This is recorded. I'll stop the recording now and then post this and let you know that it's up there. Okay?
Thank you, Guy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Guy.